Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. Welcome back. My name is Cheryl. Today I'm going to be working in my kitchen again, and I wanted to bring you along to show you what I have going on. Today I'm going to be dehydrating some pineapple, and so far I have cut up one pineapple. I like to wait until it's fairly ripe. This one was probably a little bit getting to the point where it was having some brown spots on it, so I did have to cut some of the brown spots off. But what I have here, this is actually a really nice looking pineapple, and I've cut the top and the bottom off, and I just cut the outside of the pineapple off, getting that skin off. And this one looks a lot nicer. I don't think I'll have to cut off any bad spots on here. I had to cut off a couple on this pineapple. And then I cut it in half. And in half again. And I also take the core out. Some people leave it in. I like to take it out. Find it just a little too fibrous for me. Okay. Just going to add these pieces over here so they're out of the way. And these pieces that I've cut off, all of this will go to my chickens. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be slicing up this pineapple into about 1/4 of an inch in slices. This is super easy. It takes no time at all. This pineapple is so nice and ripe. And I love fresh pineapple. I love dehydrated pineapple. There's not too much that I don't like about pineapple. I love pineapple juice. Okay, and then we're going to take these slices and we'll just start loading up these trays. The last time I dehydrated, I did the dehydrated apple, and that turned out absolutely wonderful. And again, these will be some nice snacks to have. And I just want to say Happy New Year. We're into the new year, making some good choices for 2025 and getting things done. I'm trying to be a lot more organized with my time and making those conscious decisions to, when I know something needs to be done, I need to get on it and get it done. I've also been trying to organize my basement as well. I went through all of my plant pots and got those all organized, put all my trays together, cleaned them all up. Ended up getting all my tags sorted, because at the end of the gardening year, I just throw my tags into one big container, and I just put them downstairs and leave it for another time. Well, I was listening to a podcast and I went downstairs and I organized all my trays. I didn't organize my tags from my plants that I had marked. What I did was I sorted them into flowers, vegetables, and fruits. And then I also tried to put like all my sunflower tags together, all my tomato tags together, my pepper tags together, And that is because I do quite a few varieties of those. So I filled up this tray and I'll put that in. This is a 9-tray Excalibur dehydrator. I actually had one bag of pineapple that I hadn't eaten. I put it up in the cupboard and forgotten about it. And I can't even remember when I did that pineapple, but it was still, I had it in a Ziploc bag. And that's the trick, is you want to, after you've dehydrated pineapple, apple, anything like that, you want to make sure you put it into a Ziploc bag and make sure that that is Ziploc tight, because I'll tell you, when I pulled that bag of pineapple out, I just put it on the counter for anybody who wanted to snack on it. And I don't know how it happened, but the Ziploc bag was not sealed shut from whoever was in it the last. They didn't Ziploc that bag, and that pineapple started to rehydrate just from the air. I guess just from the moisture of the air, it rehydrates. And I went and had some. I mean, it was good, but it was sticky. And the crazy thing is, I ended up, because that pineapple was sticky, it ended up getting attached to my bottom tooth, and it pulled out one of my fillings that I had in my bottom tooth. I could not believe it. So now I have to make an appointment with my dentist and get that tooth refilled. So super crazy that that even happened. And oh, I was not very happy about that happening to my tooth. So there's another tray filled up. And we will come back once I get all of these trays filled up. Okay, so I did not fill up anywhere near 8 or 9 trays. I only filled up 5, actually 4.5 trays. So I was able to space them out equally, so there will be lots of airflow going around them. I'm just going to put my cover on. And now I need to set this at 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to have this going, it said in the book 10 to 18 hours. I'm going to set it for 14 hours and we'll see where we get and what it is going to be like. I want them fairly crisp. I don't want them very pliable, because with the pineapple, I don't want it to be sticky. And hence the whole reason why I pulled out one of my fillings. So I'm just going to do this for 14 hours. And then we're going to move on to my next project. Hi, so next I am working on making a batch of corn chowder. We had ham last night for our New Year's dinner, and it had a nice bone in it. I've had this simmering for, oh gosh, about 4 hours. I just put the ham bone in. There's a little bit of meat still attached to it. There's another little bone here. And I poured some water over the bones, made sure that they were more than topped enough. I added some salt and some pepper and a bay leaf. And now what I've done is I've chopped up a bunch of onions, carrots, and celery. And I'm going to put that in this broth. And I'm going to let that simmer some more. Once these bones have cooled off a bit, where I can handle it, I will take off the ham off of these bones. I also have a whole big container of ham from the ham that we had last night. We had 11 people here for dinner last night. It was pretty much all family. And we had ham, some potatoes au gratin, which were done dairy and gluten-free, with some corn, and I made a broccoli salad, and I did an eggnog cheesecake, which was a product from Epicure, and so I just followed the instructions to make this eggnog cheesecake. It was really good. So today I wanted to definitely get this corn chowder on the go, and we will be having this for dinner. And now I'm going to be starting up a batch of bread to go with this. I'm going to be making my bread with my bread maker that I have, because I don't normally make bread. I let the bread maker make the bread. And it's my husband who loves to eat homemade bread. I'm not really one for eating a lot of bread. I'm trying to cut back on my bread intake. So I will make it and he can use it. When he has it with soup, he doesn't toast it. But if he wants to make ham sandwiches, a lot of times he will toast it and make a ham sandwich from that. Okay, with my bread that I'm making, I'm just making a basic white bread. My husband loves white bread. That would not be my first choice. So what I have is 1 1/3 cups of lukewarm water. And in this pan, this is the insert that goes into my bread maker, and it has a little blue paddle in the bottom. That's what mixes all of the ingredients together and kneads the dough before it starts to bake it. I need 2 tablespoons of milk powder. And this is just a skim milk powder. And you want to put the ingredients in the order that it has going in the book. You don't start with the first ingredient, then go to the last ingredient. You have to do it in the steps that the book says. I've never ever swayed from it. I need 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. And 3 3/4 cups of flour. There's 3 and 3/4 cups of flour. And then we need a teaspoon of yeast. We have all the ingredients in here. I'm going to put my insert into my bread machine. I want to make sure it's locked in there good. I'm going to set it to, it's on basic, because it's just a basic bread. I will put the loaf size in. It's a 2-pound loaf, and I want it a dark crust. Then I'm going to set this to begin, and that takes 3 hours and 50 minutes. So this bread will be done just in time for dinner. And then what I'll do is I'll bring you back when I'm going on to my next project, because I have one more project to get ready. Okay, so for this last project that I'm starting on the go today, I am going to be roasting some bones, and I have some beef soup bones, and I also have some pork neck bones. The pork neck bones are from our pigs that we had raised, and I haven't really found anything to do with them. So I'm going to be roasting the neck bones and the beef bones. I might have to use, I have another tray just like this one. I might have to use that one as well. These beef soup bones, these were bones that I had purchased, and I was wanting to use them to roast them up. And yeah, I might not fit everything on here. Maybe I'll do part of the beef soup bones on one with the pork neck bones. And these neck bones are still a little bit frozen. I'm just going to split these up so they can roast. It's the first time I've opened up a package of these, so I didn't even know what to expect. So I think I'll open up another package and put it on this pan. There's a small package here. Yeah, not very many in this one. I'll just do a layer and then I'll put the rest on another pan. Okay, so I have my second pan out. I'm just going to add the rest of these bones. And I have my oven at 350. Maybe I can add a couple over here. Just put some salt. As you can tell, the difference between my pans, I use this pan a heck of a lot more than I use this one. So with that being said, I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil on this one pan that hasn't been used as much. And the reason why I want to do that is I just don't want it sticking to the bottom of the pan. This one is seasoned enough, and this is just an olive oil. The only reason it's in this jar is because I put a little bit of olive oil in a jar, and we put this jar in my trailer for camping. Okay, my oven is ready. I'm just going to put my bones in. So I just have it on convection bake so that it will evenly bake. I figured that these will probably take about an hour to an hour and a half. My bread maker is now blending up the ingredients. It has a 15-minute delay, and then it starts blending in all the ingredients together, and then it lets it rise, then it blends it again, and then it lets it rise, and then it starts to bake the bread. So we will come back. Okay, we're moving on with beef bone broth. And my beef bones, I realized when I was looking at the recipe that my temperature on my oven was not high enough, so I ended up putting the temperature up to 400, and these bones have roasted up really nicely. And put all of this in here. That's quite a bit of grease that has come. I just need another oven. These pans get quite warm with the stone. But there's a lot of grease that has come off of here. I would, a lot of times I pour what's in the pan in here, but this is a lot of fat and I don't think I want. Look at these great big soup bones, like those are so beautiful. That one's a little bit stuck. Ugh, can't get this one off. Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay. Empty this one out. These little ones could have probably got taken out sooner, but and with doing this, there is going to be such depth and umami in good beef broth, and it comes from browning the bones and the meat. This process of browning is known as the Maillard reaction. And that Maillard reaction, basically, simply put, this is a chemical reaction where simple sugars and amino acids are arranged. Now I'm going to put in a couple of bay leaves. I'm going to sprinkle some thyme. I don't have any fresh thyme, so I'm just going to sprinkle in some dried thyme. It said 6 sprigs of fresh thyme. And then I'm also going to be putting in a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, but first I'm going to pour some water over the bones. And as you may have seen on some of my previous videos, we don't use our tap water for consuming because it has a lot of magnesium and rust in the water, a lot of iron. So I only use it for cleaning. So I'm covering my bones so that they're totally covered. Okay, so I am going to turn this up quite high. I have it at 400 on my electric roaster because I want to bring this to a boil. Then I will turn it down and then it'll just simmer. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons, probably 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And what the apple cider vinegar does is it draws out those nutrients out of those bones, and that also adds to the depth that you need for that bone broth. This, once it starts to boil, I will put it on a simmer, probably at about 200 to maybe 225. I have it at 400 right now, and then I will simmer that, and I'm going to simmer it for anywhere from 24 to 36 hours, depending on how the bone broth looks. Just going to show you. Here's my soup. I ended up adding some potatoes as well, and now I'm letting that simmer for about an hour. I'm just going to let you take a little look. So it just needed the bread again for a second time to start to rise, and then it will start to bake. It has 2 hours left, and then we will come back. Okay, we're back to our corn chowder, and this has been simmering for probably just over an hour. I'm going to turn my burner back on, and I'm adding 1.5 cups of coconut cream. Now it said to add whole milk, but because my son is dairy free, I'm adding the coconut cream instead into the soup. I also added a couple of teaspoons of dried thyme when I added the potatoes. And I've got a bunch of ham that I chopped up. Adding that in. And I had some leftover corn from last night's dinner. I'm gonna dump that in because I will be adding also some frozen corn as well. But I figured, well, I'm not gonna waste that corn that I had in the fridge. Let's give that a stir and see if that, oh yeah, that'll be enough. Add some dill. I love dill in corn chowder. And a pinch of some red chili pepper flakes. Just maybe a little bit more. I've got that in there. So this is just going, we're gonna let this warm. I'm just gonna keep it on a simmer, just to heat up that ham and the corn. So it is risen up quite nicely. So now it's baking. I won't leave that open for too long. Here are my bone broth. It's definitely getting warm, but it's not quite boiling yet. Once it comes to a boil, then I will turn it down to a simmer. Here we have it. Here's my bread. Take it and shake it out. Here's what it looks like. Just have to wait for a few minutes. So I'm going to probably give it about 10 minutes to cool. And then I'm going to pick out the little paddle that was kneading the bread. I also have my soup. It's looking absolutely lovely. I've turned the burner off. We're gonna just let this cool while the bread is cooling, and then we'll be slicing it up and dish it up. So I'm glad that you could join me for my busy day of quite a few different projects going on. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye for now. We'll talk again soon.